Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat, and today I'm doing a very unusual video. These are my favorite YouTube channels to escape lockdown, escape the blues, escape just negative feelings in general. If you don't know, I live in Australia, and we are currently in the longest lockdown, I think, in the world. It's so long. It's hundreds and hundreds of days. And lockdown means we can have no friends or family visit at all, period. So no one has seen me since I've announced I've been pregnant. A baby shower got canceled. I'm really trying to not be negative. I'm really trying to just stay calm and get some good vibes and just like relax. So I wanted to bring to your attention 10 channels. They don't have to do with books. There are 3 sections. There's one of my favorite channels, which is just absolute serotonin, absolute happiness. 4 channels, which are my favorite around the world channels. And then 5 of them are about living like a quiet life. Hopefully you can find some to watch that would also relax you as well. So the first one I want to talk about is my Pure Happiness channel. And this is Jessica Kellgren-Fozard. So the channel features Jessica and also her wife, Claude. Jessica talks a lot about disability, chronic illness, vintage fashion, queer history, and life with her wife and new baby. There are so many aspects of her channel, and I love all of them. So her fashion is like vintage fashion, and she really like commits to it. Her entire wardrobe is like beautiful dresses and petticoats and beautiful shoes. She always has her hair styled, coiffed like perfectly. You look stunning. You're absolutely amazing. She's also a huge disability advocate because she has a lot of chronic illness and a lot of pain. She talks about it often, like recently caring for her son. She pulled her back out and she's been bedridden for a month. I'm really sending her all the best wishes in the world, but I just love her honesty about living with chronic pain and living with disability, and like how she incorporates it and still lives her life to the fullest, as well as the other element is queer rep. So she just won a big queer award, which is great. Obviously she's married to a woman and they are the cutest. They're the cutest couple. I love them so much. She also does queer history. So she does historical profiles on forgotten or erased queer people throughout history, often women. And I just think her channel is like a field of gems. Like every video you could click would be amazing, as well as with their new baby, they are doing Montessori, which we are also doing. So every content that they keep coming out with, I just fall more and more in love with their channel. So if you don't know this channel, I really recommend checking it out. I love it so, so much, and it just brings me a lot of happiness and joy. Okay, so now let's get into channels that are around the world that I like to watch. So first up is Jonnajinton, and she is living in the North Woods of Sweden, and she documents beautiful, I mean truly beautiful, images in the North Woods of Sweden, on the lake, in the forest. And she also creates all of her own music, which she uses to overlay some of my favorite music that she's done is she records the sounds of the deep ice cracking in the lakes once they're frozen over, and it sounds so like mystical, magical, like elf land. She documents the changes of the seasons. She also paints. She's a painter, and she makes all of her own pigments from natural sources that she finds in the woods around her in Sweden. And then her partner, he is a jewelry maker, and he makes all of the jewelry by hand in a workshop on site on their like land as well. I just love her videos and how she speaks about nature and protecting conservation work, and also life in Sweden, and how they deliberately chose like a slower pace of life. And it makes me really feel like I'm getting to experience a vacation in Sweden without traveling. So yeah. Next up is Vika's channel, and she runs Minimal Russian Girl. She lives in Tula in Russia, and hers is minimalism and Russian daily life with a young child. So I found her because of minimalism, which I'm interested in, but I stuck around for daily life because I found her vlogs so unaffected and so like honest. It's just great. Like, she doesn't put on any performance for the camera. She just takes you around. She loves exploring like local vacations where they'll travel to like a nearby town and explore everything in the town, and just show you different pieces of Russia that are like some country, some city, different types of food, how they make food. I'm just fascinated by like whatever she's talking about. And her husband is the most sunny, smiley, jokey guy ever. He doesn't speak English much, so she always has translations, but I love their dynamic so much because she's very like easygoing, and he is just like the happiest guy I have ever seen. And it really shows a side of Russia that I think counteracts a lot of Russia that I've seen like on the news and stuff. So I really recommend this one, and I really like it. Next up is one that is probably the one that you might have heard of because it has 16 million followers. This is LaceFronts' channel. That's how it's pronounced according to online. And she lives in the Mianyang countryside of the Sichuan province in southwest China. And her videos are all about food and making things from natural sources and family. I'm mostly here for the food though. Oh my dear Lord, does it look amazing. Her videos alone have really made me want to travel to the Sichuan province and just stay there for 2 weeks and eat things. She often will include her grandmother, which is like my favorite part. So the whole video might be about her creating food, and then at the end of the video, it's her sitting down and having this full meal of absolutely amazing looking food with her grandmother. And it is the sweetest thing in the whole world. And often there isn't even that much talking at all in the videos. It's much more a sensory experience. You are really going through the seasons, going through the growth phases with her, and just honestly watching her prepare food makes me so hungry, and it just looks absolutely delicious. And it's not just my pregnancy brain talking, because I showed some videos to my husband and he agreed that it looks absolutely amazing. So definitely check that one out as well. And then last up for around the world is Moe, who runs KimonoMom. So she is based out of Tokyo, Japan. So she is a kimono mom. She used to be a geisha, and now she is a regular mom. She's a stay-at-home mom with her daughter. I just love her because she may look like she's dressed really traditional, but her actual like day-to-day life is quite, I think, normal for most maybe stay-at-home moms, just set in Japan. So it's all about life with her daughter and cooking food, eating with her daughter, going out to parks, going around Tokyo. And I will say the other aspect I really like of her channel is the focus on Japanese seasons and Japanese holidays. So she explains the history of different holidays within Japanese culture. So I really, really like her channel as well. And I think that their family dynamics are just so cute because it's so evident that both of the parents like have such great respect for each other and they love their daughter to absolute pieces. So yeah, I really love to watch what she's doing as well. So now we're gonna get into the quiet life channels. First up, I watch Hannah from hannahleeduggan. She lives in Minnesota in the US. And she decided to buy 2 kind of broken down cabins in the woods and slowly fix them up. There's a lot of dancing around, a lot of singing, and a lot of mistakes that happen, and she is really not fussed or embarrassed about any of it. If she doesn't know how to do things, she'll like look it up, go to the hardware store, buy the supplies, go back, try to do it. If it doesn't work, she'll go back again, get other supplies. It's nice to see someone who like is doing the video in real time, where they're like, oh no, I messed that up completely, I'm gonna have to redo it, and then she'll like drink some wine. And then the next video will be here like trying it again. It's nice because so often people do like massive cabin like rehaul, and in 3 minutes they transform it from like an old cabin to like a new beautiful cabin. And I think so much is lost, and I really enjoy, maybe it's just me, I don't think it's just me though, because she has a lot of views. Just some honest, watching people do work that you personally aren't doing, but you feel like very satisfied for them. As well as she does show beautiful shots of Minnesota, and right now she is traveling around in her sleeper van and just showing beautiful parts of America. So yeah, I love to watch her channel. I think she's very funny, and I like just the pacing of just watching her fix up her cabin. Okay, after that I like to watch MadeleineOlivia, so Madeline, and she lives in Cornwall, England, and hers is kind of the same, where she's fixing up a house where a lot of the original stuff, like the original granite and the original wood, is like very old, like 1800s old, I think. So her and her fiance are restoring it, but keeping it in the same classic like old style. So you're seeing them like restore beams and pull out walls to discover what the old stove and oven looked like. MadeleineOlivia is also into minimalism and veganism, which I am as well. So a lot of her stuff is also about cooking. Not so much right now because they're getting the kitchen redone, but she does have out vegan cookbooks, and she likes to vlog a lot about life in Cornwall. And they're constantly going to the beach, and like it just looks so stunning and so beautiful. Next after that is Isabel from Isabel Page, and she lives in Washington in America. So she built a tiny house on her own. Well, I mean like with help from friends and family, but largely on her own, in the woods, like an hour away from a town. Now she's building a shed this year. And it's really interesting because the same way hannahleeduggan does it, documenting successes and fails and just learning. So this year, in preparation for winter, she's done a lot of fermenting, pickling, learning how to plant different things. She has like a huge veggie patch, which was a learning curve, but got like really great yield this year. I'm so invested, and like I don't know her at all. I love it when people are teaching me things. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, like when I have a house, I would really love to have like a veggie patch, and I would also like to do this, and it gets me like interested in things that I didn't know, or like recipes I want to try. And something else I will mention is that her and I think her boyfriend, they write music together. And of course, like most of the time when people are like, oh, we wrote a song, you're like, okay, sure, it's probably terrible. But their songs are so beautiful, so beautiful. So I love their music, and I also love Jonnajinton's like ice sounds music. Just good vibes. And then the next one I have is the only one you might know from BookTube. So this is ArielBissett. She lives in Nova Scotia, Canada. And again, she does do book content. That's what she's known for. But she recently in the last year moved and bought a very old house, and she's slowly fixing it up and documenting the process. And I love it because Ariel's style is just so fantastic. Like she has such a quirky style, like colors that I would never think to put together, she puts together, and like just old vintage style of like furniture, and I just love it so much. And like she's talking about her plans for the garden and for like a reading nook, and like going room by room and fixing it. And she also has such an amazing bond with her family, and I'm just like, oh man, I wish you all the best, and I love to watch this process. And then the last one I want to talk about is Lisa, and she runs the channel FarmhouseonBoone, and she lives in Missouri in America. So the channel is actually known more for being like a farm homestead type channel, where it's like a day in the life of caring for the animals, the farm, and also like what she cooks for her family. She has quite a large family. I think at least, I want to say 4 to 6 children. I'm not exactly sure, but Lisa's insight into homesteading and also how she cooks, I find it really fascinating. So obviously what we're eating is a little different, but how she prepares her food and how she ferments things and raises her garden and also takes care of her animals, I find it very fascinating. So it's a much like more farm vibes, but I really appreciate it because I just find it fascinating. Like, my dad grew up on a farm in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, and my father-in-law owns a farm right now in Australia, a cattle farm. So I think farm life is really intriguing to me, and I just like to watch what she's doing, what's going on, and different things about their life. Her style is her house style, I should say, is very farmhouse. Oh my god, so cliche, but it's true. It's like whitewash with a lot of like darker woods, antiques, and I just think it looks so beautiful. And I love to watch her like sew things. Sometimes she sews her own aprons, sometimes clothes, and I just like to learn what she's doing. Like, my goal is to make sourdough as well as she can make it, because oh my goodness, every loaf of bread she ever touches looks like it's out of a magazine. Yeah, so those are all the channels that I really love to watch. I know that this is a bit of a weird video, but I thought it could help. If it even helps like one person find a new channel to relax with, then it will be worth it. Because like I've said, I've been struggling a little bit, and getting outside of the lockdown mentality is really helpful for me. And I like to watch people like doing things in places that I am currently not. So yeah. Let me know what you think, and I love you lots, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye!